Well, welcome everyone to this edition of The Experts. I'm Joe Osamendi, your host, with my co-host here, Dr. Roy Swift from Workcred. And normally, Roy, you're in Washington, D.C.
I know. I decided to lower myself and come to New Jersey.
Well, I knew this was the wrong first time to ask him to be on my show, but that's okay.
Right.
But Roy, it's good to see you.
Well, it's great to be here and to provide you experts in the field and the world of certification. This is an area the general public knows very little about,
Right.
really, and it is ways in which to enrich academic preparation or just have it in general without academic, and will facilitate somebody getting a great job with a good salary and wages in this regard. Too often, certifications are left out of the discussion about what credentials get you good jobs. And we hope by bringing this expert series together that we're bringing individuals who are experts in their particular industry and field to tell us about the opportunities in this regard. And we're certainly very lucky to have Michael Byrnes here today to talk about an area that probably a lot of people don't know about, of quality systems.
That's right.
You do, because you've had some experience,
Yeah,
right?
my experience has been as an ISO 9000, and Michael's the executive director of the American Society Quality. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Thank you for having me, Joe and Roy.
You know, why don't you tell our viewers exactly what ASQ is all about?
So ASQ is an association that was formed in 1948, post-World War, to really tackle quality from everyday products, quality in industry, manufacturing, and since then, quality certifications. So think of your quality engineers, auditors. But our mission really is to drive best practices in quality worldwide, from everything from education to manufacturing to services,
Right.
Medical device equipment, and just about every product that you can imagine as a consumer that you touch. So it's ingrained in us all to have a product that's made quality, but there's an entire science behind how we support quality professionals in their careers and organizations in pursuit of quality and excellence.
One of the analogies I always use when I talk about quality, as my background, as you and I have talked before, is ISO 9000 and ASQ. In general, I would think when I used to travel, if something happened in my car, and all of a sudden I saw two shops, mechanical shops side by side. One says GSA certified, one says Joe's mechanical shop. Joe might be the best mechanic on the East Coast. I have no idea. But the thing I do know is that one guy that has the GSA thing is a better shot of me getting my job done well, because the guy has credentials to do it. And that's what I think quality is all about, is to having those credentials which actually decrease the fact of getting some shoddy work done or not quality work done. And I think that's what I would view ASQ as.
Yeah, it's trust credibility, right? And so what distinguishes individuals and how to help them in their careers is the certifications themselves are designed to enhance the person's credibility, and B, help them on a career path to greater employment, salary, opportunities. And then I think the other thing that's not lost in this is the impact on the product that they're working on. So in the case of quality mechanic, just think of the automotive industry, the parts, the installation, the quality of the service, and the trust that the public has in those certified individuals. And then you begin to connect the dots to how important it is to have, how important quality is and what it means to you, but also the industry as a whole and how it supports consumers, how it supports suppliers, how it supports just about every type of product and service that we touch and are impacted with quality professionals. So it's a pleasure to be in the industry and to service that. But you're right, Without that certification, the trust and credibility of even peers is something that we're trying to fix. We're trying to get everybody to understand the implications and the benefits of certification as a whole.
Yeah, I think that this is an area that certainly goes across all industries, right? I mean, healthcare, any type of industry.
Yes, we've got, and a good question, Roy, because yes, it's certification, quality certifications they're focused on engineering, food safety. So think of the product that you're consuming, medical devices, pharmaceutical, mechanical, automotive. And our certifications are designed to be industry agnostic, which means that we test and we help build the skills for those core competencies. And those core competencies are further differentiated within those different industries, such as medical devices, food safety, and just about even financial and educational services as well. Everything benefits from quality improvement.
Right, and also, you have consistency in the product too. And that makes a difference, because then you can be assured that once these companies are certified to that standard, that they're going to get a consistent product all the time. You won't see any variation in it, and that's because of the process. The process is always the same. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that that brings the fact that certification is, unlike a lot of other types of credentials, is competency based, and when you identify a competency, that a task statement that somebody can do, and then it's much easier to measure. Certifications go to great lengths, and you might explain a little bit in general the process, Michael, of how you come up with those validated competencies.
Yes, and everything we do is based on established job functional analysis or content analysis, where we're really looking for what is it the quality professional does and how important it is to the actual profession and industry. That entire job analysis is then surveyed amongst all quality professional holders around the world in literally hundreds of industries. And the results of that come back and form the what we call the validated content within the exams. And then our test specifications committee comes together, their SMEs from ASQ in all industries, come together to help develop the test blueprint. And what that's really doing is it's providing, first of all, reliability and validity. So we're measuring exactly what it is, what competencies those are. Plus we're ensuring that they're more agnostic, right? They're not very obscure or industry specific. They're commonalities, core competencies across the organization. And from that blueprint that's validated and defensible, we create the actual exam structure and content. So making sure that it's fair, balanced, reliable, and relevant to the career and practice that we are helping to elevate for individuals.
This is important because a lot of employers are saying credentials, a lot of credentials that are being produced in this country today, the person is coming and they don't have the competencies as advertised. Certification has that process that Michael just described is much more assurance that indeed you're going to get the product, in this case the person, with the competencies as advertised, versus not in other types of credentials that will go unnamed at this point.
Well, and that is important, because a certification really demonstrates that you have the skills to do the job. And that's different than an academic diploma, or whatever you want to call it, because that says what you know, but that doesn't mean you're competent for the job.
Right.
And I think that from an employer standpoint, I'd be more comfortable with a person that has as an accredited certification, so that person's going to work for me, and I can kind of have them, once they're trained, they'll be off and running. They'll become a valuable part of my organization. And that, I think, is the key to certification.
Yeah, and certainly ASQ can brag that they are accredited by a third party, and only 10 to 15% of what is determined. There are 8,000 certifications in this country. Nobody knows for sure, but let's just say 8,000 is correct. The ASQ is one of the 10% that has had third-party review and validated. Michael, maybe you can talk more specifically about your certifications that you offer, so people have a good idea what they consist of.
Absolutely, and Roy, when you talk about being accredited by a third party, and you think about quality, we talk the talk, we walk the walk with quality professionals from the regulatory point of view, but the quality management system that we use to develop the product, it's important. A quality product matters. In terms of our overall credentials for the industry, we offer quality engineering. Basically, we offer an engineering track that covers quality engineers, reliability engineers. So think of those guys that are working on aircraft parts, are working on incubators and ICUs for children. Pretty critical to have reliability. Software engineering. We offer 4 different certifications in the auditing field, from quality auditing, food safety auditing, pharmaceutical, and importantly, medical device auditing. From a foundational point of view, so if you're new to quality, we offer a quality 101. We offer a quality process analyst. And these types of programs really help you understand the importance of quality and some of the foundations and principles of quality improvement and tools. And then finally, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep. And then finally, we offer Six Sigma, everything from yellow belt to master black belt, quality inspection, technician, and then quality management, supplier quality management, and construction quality management. And so you begin to see the portfolio, how it supports the industries and all the different careers that are part of those 19 different certification products that we offer, and the important to the public and everybody and every product and service that's part of that umbrella of certifications.
You know, what's interesting is that you always talk about third-party validation, which makes a very, very big part of this, because they're doing an objective look at it to make sure that you document what you do what you document, and you have records to prove it. That's really how the systems work. And I think that with the ASQ type of process that you have, people that go through that can be assured that they're going to have a certificate, like we said, that it's accredited. Because if it's not accredited, it's not worth anything. And so I think that's an important part of it. Do people get multiple certifications from you?
Sorry, Roy.
Oh, no, it's Joe.
I can't hear you.
No, I said, do people have a tendency to get multiple certifications from ASQ?
Yes. So we tend to see complementary certifications and career path routes. We see folks take traditional and non-traditional, but a couple of common combinations are quality engineers and quality auditors. And that makes sense if you think of what they do in the industry, from being part of product design, overseeing requirements, and then having to be part of audits, because they are also subject to third-party audits for product qualification or even personnel labs as well. So those combinations work pretty good together. And then the other combinations are Six Sigma, where we see people progress in the career path from yellow belt, green belt, and on to black belt in that career journey as well.
Yeah, it seems like that there are many opportunities for somebody with your certification. What is the salary range that we see with these kinds of individuals, and are they when people come to you for this quality, are they at the beginning of their career or middle of the career? What's the profile of the type of person that comes to you?
And all sorts. We get everything from students, and typically quality sometimes isn't something you stumble on immediately out of college. It typically
Right.
finds you when you've a couple of years into your profession and you're beginning to make a move into different parts of the business. So kind of a typical profile is maybe somebody that's 3 or 4 years into their career and beginning to advance and understand more about the ecosystem of quality. Example for you is quality management and quality engineering. Quality engineering is really attributable to the function that they're providing as engineers, supporting the operations, the product. Quality management is something that they stumble in as part of the whole realm of services and operations. And then typically when they begin to progress and lead teams, they move into quality management, understand how to have, people leadership skills, team building skills. And I think the other one that I would say as well is that there's no design print that says you have to have X amount of experience as a quality professionals. We work with technical colleges, and we have provided students that have gone from minimum wage through partnerships with technical colleges to become quality inspectors, raising their salaries from minimum wage into the upper 60s and 70,000s. And that's life changing. And that's something that inspires us and compels us to keep going with our mission to bring not only quality to everybody that consumes it, but to the careers of individuals and really enhance that professional so that they can continue to grow in their, not only with their careers, but with their salaries as well.
Some people are worried that many of these certifications require academic degrees or things. Are some of your certifications, do they have no prerequisites or some experience prerequisites, or what's the kind of general trend there?
Correct. So what we do is we offer waivers as a requirement for education. So some of our credentials like Yellow Belt there's no work experience or educational requirement. And then if I flip to our inspector program, they offer a couple of years of work experience. Our engineers may have an 8-year work experience, but 5 of those years are waived. If you have a master's degree, 4 of those years are waived if you have a degree. And so we really try to balance the competency, the promise to the market with qualified individuals that can make an impact, and with balancing the education and the experience, which is an important factor for any employer that takes on these individuals in their organization.
Well, Michael, we're going to take a quick break, pay a couple bills, and then we're going to come right back and talk to you about you and ASQ again. Stick around, everybody.
I love that we both got an awesome network and save money doing it.
I know, $25. I love that it's guaranteed for 3 years.
Hey, we're sitting on a sign here.
Switch and get Welcome Unlimited for $25 a line, guaranteed for 3 years. Verizon.
Oh, no signal. I don't have home internet.
Oh, that's a red flag.
Find the bars.
Your mom looks a lot like me.
Yeah, couple of hotties.
Thank you?
Ah, man. There's dead spots all over this place.
There really are. Oh, wow.
Nothing. Are you getting a good signal?
No, I'm not.
It's time for real home internet. Get it on the next generation 10G network, only from...
I love what I do. A lot of that has to do.
Well, welcome back to this episode of The Experts. Again, I'm Joe Osamendi with my co-host in the studio today, Roy Swift. We have a very good conversation going with Michael Byrnes. He's Executive Director of ASQ, and we're talking about quality. And one of the things I think that's important when Roy brought up what kind of careers are available to people that are ASQ certified. And I know from experience, ASQ certified auditors, for instance, will never be out of a job. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the most important thing, that people that are watching this show for the first time can understand, that if you do get a quality accredited certification like from ASQ, you really got job security. You're always going to be able to pick up a job somewhere. And I think it doesn't matter what the economy's like, you will be able to get a job. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for now. That separates certification, again, from academic, whatever credentials academia gives you.
And I think it relates to this whole initiative of skill-based hiring. Mm-hmm. I think the test blueprints and the competencies is one way of employers being able to specifically know what it is.
The other thing too is, again, to kind of emphasize the point, is when you have skill-based accreditation like that and certification, mm-hmm. the fact is that somebody can walk into a employer's office and instantly that person can look and say, I know this person has a skill set. And mm-hmm. that's more important, because then you can walk right into a job with the feeling of that employer that this man can go to work right away.
Well, that's a good point. Michael, how does one know that somebody really has the certification, one of your certifications from ASQ?
So we've switched to verifiable registries that we have on our website, but we've also issued digital credentials through one of our third-party providers. Mm-hmm. And those credentials contain blockchain encryption and security that anybody can scan, and that verifies the authentic nature of that credential. So it gives employers confidence, it gives the public trust that we are validating and have a mechanism to validate the qualifications of individuals publicly.
And along with that, you're right. I mean, that accreditation gives the person that's working with that individual the confidence that the job is going to be done correctly. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing. That when I hire you I'm going to get a competent individual that's going to make sure the job is done right. And that's what everybody wants.
Yes, and the other part of it is that it's trust, right? It's trust that the brand, the process that which we build credentials from is rigorous. It contains experts in the field, so it's not a staff-driven approach. It's an actual member mm-hmm. and expert-driven approach, so that you can have confidence that we're attaining a quality auditor or a food safety auditor, that those individuals are working in the biggest industries out there, doing HACCP auditing, mm-hmm. Doing qualification-based processes that really provide trust to the public, but they speak the same nomenclature with their peers as well. So it standardizes the actual core competencies within the industry. So there's a whole trust factor, but there's a practical nature for that. And when it comes to ASQ certifications, the brand, the process, the third-party accreditation oversight, and the dedication that we are just absolute crazy about quality, mm-hmm. that we have to ensuring that we equip those professionals with, add to that value for your career. And it also adds to employer selection as well of folks with those credentials that because they know they're going to make a difference. They know that quality professionals can help change customer satisfaction, can increase their reliability and confidence in product development, and enhance just about every operation and function within the organization. And in a way, they're the hidden heroes behind it all, right? Quality professionals, they're in healthcare systems and hospitals, not on the front line, but they're the guys behind the scenes making sure the equipment is good. They're ensuring the processes are improved, lean, efficient, reliability in the service provided, measurement data, and so on. So they play a vital role ensuring public safety, but also their impact is sometimes never really understated until you get something that doesn't work or a service that didn't work, right?
Right.
And then we feel the negative, cost of poor quality as a result.
And when hospitals are accredited, they certainly look at that kind of data that the quality person would be collecting, just like you want less and less defects with the product. You want less and less infection outbreaks of whatever the metrics may be for that particular healthcare setting. Now, we know you're accredited, so you must have recertification programs. Describe a little bit about what people have to do to continue to be certified, because certification is only good for a certain interval, depending on what credential they're working on, in order to remain, because you might be certified initially, but then they may not recertify. So that is important information for the public to understand, that they have to go back and see, did they recertify and met the requirements of the particular certification body. Talk a little bit about what you require.
Correct. So each certification has its own, obviously, body of knowledge and requirements, but you're right. Topics change, standards change, practices change, technology changes. And what we do is we support the quality individual with remaining current with those practices so that they're still at the top of their skill set, that they're continuing to learn, and that there's continued trust in the public with any services or impact and quality. And so just think, as you mentioned, Roy, sterilization standards change every other year depending on what those regulations require. Medical device technology is changing constantly, and keeping up with that profession is something that we support that quality professional on. Typically, the research requirements are every 3 years. So that doesn't mean you switched off for 3 years, but you continue to learn and develop over the coming 3 years in order to maintain your certification. And that's a bar that is set with the support of industry experts and our certification council that mandates and fosters that continuous learning and credibility of our professionals.
Yes, and think how comforting that is to the employer that says, as long as they maintain their certificate, I know they have to update. It's mandatory that they have to update appropriately to whatever role they are particular functioning to. That's worth a lot of money to the employer also, because they don't necessarily have to provide it. They may want to, but the more important point is that the certification is a way of upskilling and reskilling throughout a career to ensure that the updating is occurring in this regard.
And the other thing is that standards change too. So you have to be up to what the standards changes are.
Right.
So that makes perfectly good sense.
It does. When regulatory bodies and standard bodies change how they and evolve how they practice, and with lessons learned, we keep current with that as well, so that the employer knows that that professional that goes through certification has to maintain that same standard and evolve to the existing standards today, so that they're not out of date and using practices that may have been superseded by previous versions.
Yeah, because there's certain industries that rely on these standards, like ISO, for instance. To do business in their industry, they need that, and that changes all the time too. So as that changes, everybody's got to change, especially your auditors. So I think that it's a perfect marriage between ASQ and quality in general. I think it works perfectly that way.
It does, and this is why when we talk about ASQ certification and on our journey towards being accredited by a third-party body. The joy of us being part of that, and to the consumer, it's confidence, right? It's confidence that we're creating the best certification product that supports the industry professionals. So it's a symbiotic relationship, and I often think that some of these things that maybe not are obvious to the public are better seen in the quality of the service and the product instead, in terms of our product. And you're right, ASQ is synonymous with quality and standards, and it would seem out of place if we weren't developing and supporting the industry to the highest point of excellence that we possibly can. So we're pretty proud of that.
We don't always talk about this, but a lot of the things we talked about today is that these credentials really could be fit in the category of health and safety, because especially in the food, particular arena, in healthcare, it's about health, safety. It's in the manufacturing world that people don't get injured, and the workman's compensation issue in this regard. So these are not just about quality, but it's really about health and safety also.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, the quality professionals, it's agnostic, the certifications that we develop, but their recipients are in just about every industry you can imagine, from things that are product related to the automotive industry, to aviation industry, defense industry. And so safety is absolutely critical to any product that's released, and it's a responsibility of associations and a mission of associations like ASQ to ensure that we enhance and drive those best practices and support industry in that regard with the professional competencies of certificates.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for being with us today and talking about quality, because like you said, it's within every industry to ensure health and safety. And what I'd like you to do now is really kind of look into that camera and tell people how they can reach you and who should call you.
Well, Joe and Roy, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and an honor to talk to the audience here today about quality. We can be reached at CERT, C-E-R-T, at asq.org for any questions that you have.
Michael Byrnes, thank you so much again for being with us. And it was great having you and really going over quality and how important it is for everybody to understand. Right. Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for watching us at The Experts, and we'll see you around next time.